We've known about Xenoblade 2's story DLC, Torna, the Golden Country, for quite a while. However, it is at this E3 that we really got the full reveal of what it was going to be about. Not only did we get a trailer, but also the first 25 minutes of that DLC. And that's considering it can be expected that this DLC will take several hours to complete. What does this tell us? This DLC is big. This isn't our Lambda extra costume DLC or some mediocre excuse to get us to give money to the publishers. No, this is much bigger than that. Today we live in an age of huge amounts of extra content in our video games. Now, it is actually fairly strange to see a AAA game being released and no DLCs announced. And as time goes by, this happens to smaller and smaller games too. While their existence started as what were then called expansion packs, which added quite a lot of content to the games in question, DLCs have become quite a filthy business, since publishers do not necessarily need to put much high quality new content to get people to pay. Whether it be skins or emotes, little things like that can become good cash grabs, which may or may not create a couple controversies here and there. In recent years, while we of course keep hearing about said controversies, we do also see some good cases. I am particularly thinking of the Witcher 3 DLCs, which are known for basically being games of their own, considering the sheer amount of new content they provide. It seems Torna, the Golden Country, is going to be a similar case. Not only are we going to play on a new map and have new story content, and many hours of that, but we're also going to be able to play as new characters that were not in the main storyline of the game, and there are entire new game mechanics introduced. In other words, what this means is that it reintroduces the game to the players in a new way, and is being something more than a mere extension of the storyline. It takes risks in doing those changes, considering it is not a separate game. This is important because providing more hours of content sometimes isn't enough. I am thinking for example about Breath of the Wild story DLC, Champion's Ballad. I believe it could be completed in around a dozen hours or so, which by many standards is pretty healthy for a DLC. However, this content didn't feel as satisfying, because it turned out for the most part to be just more shrines. Now, before I continue, I would like to say that I do like Champion's Ballad, and I think it is a pretty good DLC. However, it could have been a lot better if its content was different from what the main game already provides. While we do have to agree that the shrines found in that DLC were among the best in Breath of the Wild, as well as the fact that those memory cutscenes were great, and even if the reward you get is awesome, at the end of the day, when I finished it, I felt wanting more from it. On the other hand, it looks like Torna won't. If I pay extra money to get new content in the game, then I want the content to make it feel worth it, in the sense that the content itself sends a breath of fresh air to the game. With all of that said, we still have to consider that Torna, the Golden Country, is not released at the time of making this video. So for all we know, it might turn out it's a lot of crap and this DLC sucks. It's a possibility. However, the truth is that this isn't necessarily the point. The point is the fact that this is DLC in which clear effort is being put, and this is something to celebrate. Even if I put shade on Champion's Ballad earlier, I will still say that it clearly made more efforts than many DLCs out there. If we take a look at other great DLCs, such as Skyrim's or Witcher 3's, they all share one thing in common. They resurrect the game in some way and bring a breath of fresh air to it. They expand it in ways you might not necessarily have expected it. Simply put, it gives a valid reason for us players to come back to the game. And this is the true purpose of a DLC.